Hello, and we are back live at reInvent 2023 in Las Vegas. We have a very exciting session. We're going to talk about automation and Amazon Bedrock agents. I am joined by Kyle and Mark.
Hello there.
Mark, you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're going to talk about today?
Sure, yeah, my name is Mark Roy. I'm a Principal ML Specialist SA, and I've had the pleasure of being the lead SA on Amazon Bedrock all year. So it's been a little bit busy.
So for those that haven't heard of Bedrock just yet, can you just give us like the elevator speech of,
Sure.
What is Bedrock?
Elevator speech. You've heard of all this generative AI and foundation models. Bedrock is the easiest way to use those to build solutions, basically.
That is a great elevator pitch.
There you go.
Perfect.
Made it to the second floor and that was it.
Awesome.
So what was the solution that you all were trying to solve when it came to this, and what is this feature going to be helping our customers with?
Great, yeah, great question. So foundation models are great at a lot of things, right? Some pretty amazing things, summarizing text, having conversations, classification, but they don't do actions. So you can get answers back, but they don't do things. So a lot of people out there trying to do real work and get automation done, get integration done, and so that's what we're trying to solve. So Agents for Bedrock helps you build and deploy what are called agents. And agents are pretty straightforward. You tell it what it's good at. You give it a set of actions that it knows about. Maybe some knowledge bases that it can search in. And you're good to go. You give it a request. So let's say you say, hey, you're an insurance agent. Send reminders to anyone with open claims that have missing documents. And the agent says, okay, let me think about this. I've got these available, I've got this available. Makes a plan, executes the plan, gets it done. So that's agents. Pretty straightforward.
So you mentioned, a very specific use case. Is that just like a use case that's out of the box, or is that something that someone would tune or create for them to customize to their industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of customers have been talking to, they've been asking for maybe a marketplace of agents. We're not quite there yet. Agents is really kind of still early days. So this is really tools to build agents easily. So the idea is, hey, you've got all kinds of data available. You've got APIs you've been building for years, right? They're all well thought through, microservices, Lambda functions. Agents are layering on top of all of that existing capability and just letting you automate that to do simple things.
That sounds pretty powerful.
It's very cool.
Yeah, and this whole generative AI and Bedrock, I got to play with Bedrock leading up to the conference and just experimenting with things, and it's the way you can ask a question, and even just looking at how generative AI is helping just with solve security problems with investigations too, and providing more context. It's very impressive what you can do.
Yeah, you mentioned security, and I heard you on the prior talk. Are you both into security?
We are.
We do have a security problem. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome because we're seeing a lot of that. A lot of different security companies. I was talking to a company yesterday doing a lot of fraud work, and there's companies that provide a lot of security services. It's really kind of a hot button or a hot area using generative AI in those spaces. Agents could fit in there as well. You could picture just about any of our AWS services. You could put simple agents on top of them. Let's say you're the security guy at some company. You're managing a lot of roles, and you're managing policies and all kinds of other things that you could go on and on about, right?
Yeah.
And some of it's probably pretty tedious. You've got to go to multiple screens and put in multiple pieces of information. An agent could just put a simple wrapper on top of that, and now you can use English or whatever your favorite language is. Use natural language to make a request.
Natural language, I think, is the term that I've been hearing quite a bit this week. Is just natural language, which just ask it in plain text what you want instead of having to know a specific syntax of a query language, right?
Yes, or clicking through multiple screens and cutting and pasting.
So it sounds like these agents can perform tasks. So we take it past just the conversational step.
Yes.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad you brought it up because people, when they've got one of those nameless chat tools on their phone, I won't bring them up, but they're used to just a conversational type interface with LLMs, right? Here we're talking agents which you can use in that mode, right? So earlier I said, send claims out to open reminders. You could follow that up with some other comment reference back to the history, right? But it also could be behind the scenes. So you could just have an event come in and trigger an agent to go do something. Or you could even have agents that use other agents,
Huh. Now, I see a screen up, and I know we have a demo, and I'm really excited to see how this can all be done.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure the audience that's watching wants to know more about this, and even just Bedrock in general, too. But now we even have a new feature for Bedrock.
We do.
Which is
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
So we got the screen up. Let's go ahead and what do we got going on here?
What do we got? So over in the Bedrock console, if you go to agents, there's knowledge bases too. Agents can use knowledge bases, but we don't have time to dive into that one. What I'm showing you on the screen is this insurance claims use case. So
do you have a problem with insurance claims? Because I'm noticing a theme here.
I do, absolutely. Quite painful, quite painful. But they're actually getting better. They're making some great use of AWS services here.
Perfect.
So we made this simple claims agent that has a few actions available to it, like find open claims with a certain criteria, get details of a claim, find out whether a claim has missing documents, send reminders to the claim, customer. So here we're showing a little interaction that I've already done. So I said list open claims. It came back with that information. Tell me about claim 006. It gave me a little bit more. And then I'm able to do actions. So those were kind of lookup type capabilities, pretty simple. Here I'm saying send reminders for that claim. And it's able to do that. And then I kind of tie it all together here. We could have started with this, but the example I gave earlier, send reminders for all open claims with missing documents. That sounds pretty easy, but what's happening under the hood is it says, okay, how can I get this done? Let's see what I've got available. And the beauty of it is it's all transparent as well. So if you click Show Trace, which I've done over here, it tells you, was there any pre-processing? How did it orchestrate that request? So it breaks it down into chunks, comes up with steps. There might be some iteration there, and you get to see all of that. Here we're saying, hey, they asked this question. I'm going to come up with a plan. Step 1, call this available action. Step 2, iterate on what comes back. Step 3, do something else, and then eventually give back the answer. So you can see the details of every step as it goes.
Is there a way to dry run that to see what it would do, but without the actual invocation of it?
That's a great PFR. We've got to put that feature request in.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
So, and these steps that it breaks out, so this is what we were talking about at the beginning, right? Where it can take what you're asking it to do and then break it down into steps and then execute that. Is this what we're talking about?
Absolutely, yeah. So, and it can get pretty interesting. Let me show you one other example as well. So every company has a customer relationship management system, right?
Right.
Here's my customers, here's the activities that are going on, the opportunities, whatever. So picture a CRM bot here. So I've got using agents for Bedrock, and it's my assistant, and it's got some simple wrappers on top of a CRM system.
Now, this would be you as like
an account manager, somebody on the sales team. You know. And the scenario is, hey, I'm about to go meet customer ABC, but I've got 15 customers and my head is spinning here. Help me out. What should we be talking about? So here's the request. So I say, suggest a meeting for customer ABC. Make sure it covers their top concerns, and tell me, the topic, a bullet list of agenda items, and let me know what day and time works best. Now, this particular agent has access to a few different actions I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
But I generated code to build this user interface because I can't write UI code very well, so I used Bedrock to do this.
That's awesome.
And on the right, I'm showing the trace as it happens.
Which is what you just showed us before in the console itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the API gives you that as well. So here's what happened. It's a little bit neater, actually, when you do it yourself. Here's the steps, and then it executes the steps. So notice right here, it went and found out what have we done with this customer recently. Sorry, it's right here. List recent interactions. And what comes back is the date and time that they met and some notes. So it's going to use those notes to come up with ideas. Hey, what were they upset about? What were they happy about? Let's figure out what meeting to. So let's see what it came back with. Comes back with a headline for the meeting. We should talk about our new Smart Ship product and pricing details. We should make sure we cover reliability because they've been complaining about it the last 3 meetings we had. They want to see the new capability, but they're worried about pricing because their budgets were cut in half. So it learned from what was out there in the CRM and used generative AI to come up with answers. So I just saved myself 20 minutes by using an agent.
And so someone in the chat dropped a question, or they were saying, like, can they make a doctor agent so they don't have to go to the doctor? But I'm thinking of one of the most pain points I have is when you establish a new primary physician, they're just like, I haven't seen this person and they've had 20 years of history, right? This could summarize in a similar fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me press the pause button here and pump the brakes, so to speak, on agent hype. So I'm not in marketing, and I never will be. So sorry, maybe I'll get fired for this, but hey, agents, you should really think about building small, focused agents, right? And start small. Do we want to start dealing with, your PII right away in my very first agent?
Probably not.
Maybe not. But giving it 3 to 5 actions, a couple of knowledge bases, and asking it to break that down and get it done, it's excellent in that space.
Now, you said you're going to show us the actions that this agent had accessible to
Absolutely.
itself. And what consists of an actual action? Are those like data sources or integrations?
You're such a good interviewer. So here, this is an example set of instructions that I gave for this CRM agent. Hey, you're an agent, you help people work with their customers, you can get the access to company history and so forth, right? And then you can drill into the actions themselves, and you describe those using a schema. So if you ever looked at REST interfaces or APIs, this will look familiar.
You probably have more than I have.
So there's a method basically called company overview, one called list recent interactions, and it gives a description. And the reason that's so important is the agent gets fed those descriptions, and that's how it figures out what steps make sense.
It's using that natural language in the description itself. So commenting your code becomes even more important.
I see.
100%.
Love good code commenting practices.
100%. And it describes what parameters it gets in and what returns it gives back.
Okay.
So then it knows what sequence do I call it. Actions, here's some code. So here's a simple Lambda function. Hopefully a lot of folks out there are familiar with Lambda.
If you're not, we talked about it in depth a lot yesterday.
By the way, an advantage of agents for Bedrock over some other possible options you have is our multi-language capability. So with Lambda, you've got Java, JavaScript, Python, C#, Go, on, right? So you can build your actions however you want to. And they just wrap our existing databases or APIs. So you just have a simple handler that says, hey, what is which method got called? And then you write a simple function to layer on top of whatever you've got. Here, list interactions. It's hard-coded here to return
And it looks like it's less than 65 lines, too.
There you go. Now, here's a fun thing here. Why not use agents to build agents? So maybe you don't feel like you're ready to build agents. Why not have an agent to get that done, right? So right over there, while I was waiting, I said, hey, give me a new agent that's going to take new inputs and gives back, you can ask it hello, it gives you back hello world, right?
Right.
And
I hope it would, unless if it says something else.
Yeah, we got to watch for hallucinations and responsible AI. So here we are live. We're going to see if it worked.
All right.
Are we ready?
We didn't do the demo dance
last time.
Can we do it?
All right, we did the demo dance.
Okay.
Let's find out.
So I'm looking here. This was created 1428. So I didn't lie, right? This is brand new. Let's try it. We'll click into it.
Let's do it.
Do you want to type hello?
Absolutely.
Want to do this? All right. Kyle's first use of an agent here live.
Oh,
Two L's.
Oh,
Two
great.
L's.
oh gosh.
Great. We would have cut this out.
Hello. Loading response.
Drum roll,
It's
please.
going to say, Kyle, go away. Hello.
Oh, well, it was close. At
least it didn't say, Kyle, go away. Or, I know.
hello, world. Let's see what happens.
And it's because I typed it. It knows who. It knows who. It's
Yeah.
looking through your webcam right now. It saw that it wasn't me
Yeah,
that was typing it.
it's a little bit sensitive to that, right? So if I go to generated functions, the most recent one here, this was created for me automatically. I wrote no code. I wrote that little paragraph.
Yeah.
And here's what it generated for me. Let's
Wow.
see why it didn't quite work. I don't know. If you call hello, it calls this method. Huh, interesting. It's supposed to return hello world, so I don't know.
Well,
Return.
that's where troubleshooting comes into
Troubleshooting.
play. But you know
We've
what?
got
Wait, you
CloudWatch
used-
logs
We
and
got
everything.
CloudWatch
yeah.
logs, which we can query fairly easily using natural language, as we learned
Hold
yesterday.
on. You used
Yes.
a capital H. I think it needs a lowercase h.
Maybe that's the problem.
Oh. Or maybe it's
Maybe.
because it wasn't him using his laptop.
I think so.
Very possibly.
Yeah. It's watching us all. So what kind of customers would you say are going to benefit from that? You said start small.
Yes.
You know, I'm always like, you know, I'll jump in the deep end, but okay, fine, I'll take your advice and start small because I don't want to be responsible for impending doom of, you know, generative AI stuff going off the chain. So when these agents are developed, where are some resources that customers can use to help with the development, or at least get off the ground with using these, or at least exploring
Yes.
how they can go about creating these?
Absolutely, yeah. So you can actually go to GitHub. We published some samples earlier today.
Okay.
So just Google GitHub Bedrock agent samples. You'll probably get there.
Okay.
There's a few. There's even the agent creator in there. I think
Really?
we've got the insurance claims there if you want to just run through the stuff we just did.
Awesome.
Plug it right into your environment and off you go.
Now, for those that are attending reInvent Live here, they're
Yep.
here in person, what can they do to go see, get a little more hands-on, even dive deeper in with the information with you, your friends,
Yes.
you know, that support this?
Absolutely. Yeah, so there's a Bedrock booth right around the corner.
So around the corner is actually the back end of the expo hall, and then to the left.
In the big, huge AWS booth, there's a Bedrock sub-booth, I suppose you call it.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's one. We've got an agents breakout session on Thursday.
What's the
AIM 353.
AIM 353, and you said that's on Thursday.
Yes, and you'll see
It's
a
a
few more
breakout session.
demos. It's a breakout. There's simulcast somewhere as well.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So
Awesome. I got to say, my favorite part, and this is all so cool, but my favorite part was using Bedrock to generate the web page to use Bedrock
Oh.
to do something else.
can I
Yeah.
show you one more thing?
Yes, please.
Okay. So you've heard of Party Rock. You've used Party Rock yet?
I party rock all the time.
Okay.
Party rock.
So I wrote this Party Rock app. You know, everyone's trying it out. My son even tried it out. He's never written anything here like this. Hey, David.
Shout out, David. Thanks for lending us your dad for the day.
Nice. So you just describe what you want here. Let's say, how about in the security space, if you wanted your agent to handle a few actions? Give me 2 actions you want it to support.
I want it to be able to support knowing who accessed S3 or who deleted an S3 bucket.
Okay. Let's see. So what would we call that?
We would call
Given a bucket, you find out who deleted it.
Yes.
Is that it? Okay.
Yep. Give it a bucket name.
Find out who deleted a bucket. Takes in an S3 bucket name. Gives back what? The principal?
Gives back the principal.
Principal.
A principal. Okay, give me one more.
Let's find out who stopped an EC2 instance.
Ooh, okay.
It was probably Sydney.
I do like, you know, some quiet, peaceful EC2 instances.
Takes in what? An EC2
Instance
ARN,
ID.
EC2
Yep.
instance ID. Also gives back a principal. Okay. And then maybe, how about one more create role or something? Create policy or?
Who created an access key? An IAM user access key.
Okay. Created an access key. And what would we take in?
We would take in a API event name of create access key.
And gives back a principal. So, okay, so we've got a handful of actions here. And then we just say, I like my schema to be in JSON. You could pick YAML as well. And then no code, you just described what you want. And look at this.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's awesome.
Here's the schema, find out who deleted bucket. It takes in a bucket name, gives back the principal, no problem, right?
Awesome.
It's all there. Now it's generating your Python Lambda.
That's awesome.
You can deploy that right away. You go through an agent wizard. You say create new agent. You point to this Lambda, which gets this code gets saved in S3. You point to this schema. And I even generate for you some test payloads for Lambda.
That is so cool.
Awesome. I wish we had more time.
Yeah, I wish we had more time to show this, but Party Rock, Bedrock, booth, breakout session Thursday. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks,
it was
Kyle.
a pleasure.
Thanks, Sydney.
All right. Take care and stay tuned for more awesome stuff coming from reInvent 2023.
We will be back soon.
Live.